Okay, hold on just a second. You requesting to go live? Give me a second if you can bear with me. And after doing so, I will certainly give you that opportunity to go live with me. Anyone who wants to. Today's topic, as you see, let me first introduce myself to many of you who may not know who I am and will hear this later. I am the world's top cop, a former police officer who served here in Houston, Texas from 2007 to 2018. Documentations of the Houston Police Department, government documented, will prove just that. I'm a decorated police officer. And even though you may not have heard it from the police department itself, or it has not been stated, that does not matter. The documentation and what I've committed and served when I wore that uniform speaks for itself. And one thing is for sure, even though those of the world will not honor you or speak of you, will never erase the fact that who you are will show forth in the world itself. And on today, we have witnessed in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, a 20-year-old by the name of Duane Wright. The police officers there patrolled the area and performed a traffic stop. It has been stated. Now, as a former police officer, there's not one situation that I have not been engaged in. In traffic stops, have done over thousands of traffic stops and arrested some of the most dangerous criminals, from murderers to drug-related offenses, assaults. I've arrested people on traffic stop with AK-47s, dangerous weapons, from the small to the greatest, by myself as a single-man patrol unit. So I have the right and I have the knowledge and expertise to talk of this situation. And this traffic stop that was committed by either one police officer or multiple officers, I'm not quite sure. But do understand this: if it was one or more than one police officer on that traffic stop, to stop a citizen for air freshener hanging from a mirror, and what that led up to this citizen being killed for a air freshener on the mirror. Is that what police officers are being paid to do in communities across this country we call America? Should there not be a shame for you, police officer, if you hear me, and those of you police officers and the chief or the commissioner in Minnesota who may hear this and know that what this police officer or officers who have done this to that citizen and shot and killed Duane Wright, and it stemmed from a air freshener, and this is what you call policing? Is that honorable? Is that what taxpayers are paying police officers to perform traffic stops on citizens who have an air freshener hanging from a mirror? Now, in every police department, You have what you call crime analysis that shows police departments where there are high areas of crime. And when I was on patrol, I paid attention to high crime areas. And in these high crime areas, I made sure I provided the service that I was being paid for by taxpayers to remove individuals in these high crime areas who were committing serious, dangerous crimes. I would go after these individuals and I would put them in jail, and I made certain areas where these crimes were being committed, I brought the crime under control and eliminated many dangerous criminals from those areas. So what I'm saying is that police departments know the statistics of traffic stops. The command staff, the crime analysis, and those who specialize in those areas know of this matter. And every time you turn on that TV and you see individuals who have been shot by police, all that is documented as well. And anywhere you go, your race must play a factor, shall I say, in who is being arrested on traffic stops, who's being pulled over, who is being received citations. Your race is on the traffic stop citation ticket. And what I'm saying is this: majority of all, I have not known not one, all traffic stops where there has been situations that these traffic stops have become minor, every shooting death has been a black person, and that alone is a problem. I hope you heard what I just told you. I'm going to say that one more time. The traffic stops where citizens are being killed are not Asians. The traffic stops where citizens are being killed multiple times, slain in their vehicles for minor traffic stops, are not Hispanic, are not Caucasian. Hispanics and Caucasians, that's not the case. It is foundational black people being killed. So what I'm saying is we have a situation where police agencies have a race problem. And if there's going to be a reform, if there's going to be something to change this, you have to dismantle and reform the policies and the relationships between police officers and their contacts with black citizens. Duane Wright The police stated in Minnesota that after they pulled Dante Wright over, they went to verify and they did a search on his name, his date of birth, the patrol car. And it came back that he had a warrant for his arrest. No problem. They come back to the vehicle, and at the same time, Dante Wright, from my understanding, he called his mother, Katie Wright, during the traffic stop. And when the police came back to the car and told him to get out of the car, shortly thereafter, after he gets back in the car, he was shot and killed. So the question is this: what kind of warrant did Dante Wright have? Was it a felony warrant or was it a misdemeanor warrant? Was it a city warrant? A petty warrant? If it was a felony warrant, and if it was one police officer or two police officers, after they understood what the warrant was, if they could not handle this one individual who was the driver of the vehicle, why didn't they call for more units, and why did they not perform a proper warrant arrest safely to ensure not only for their safety, but the safety of the suspect who had the warrant to take him into custody, put him in back of the patrol car, proper procedures, and take him to jail alive? And so the police department state that because he got back into his vehicle, they fired a shot at Dante, and he drove off, and he died. So does it warrant police officers in Minnesota or police officers across the country to shoot individuals for getting back in the vehicle? Are the police agencies or the police officers in Minnesota, are they trained in the police academy to shoot individuals who get back in their vehicles? Or is it proper police procedure to do your job to manhandle or use the least amount of force, which is your God-given right and your ability to control a suspect without using deadly force unless deadly force is caused for? Did Dante Wright have a weapon on him for them to shoot him? And even if he had a weapon on him, was that weapon used to target the police officer or officers who were trying to arrest Dante Wright? But none of that happened. Now, did it? Now, if it did, it would have been stated. But if it did not, which I know it did not, why did that police officer or officers shoot and kill Dante Wright over an air freshener traffic stop? Was that justified? And if the commissioner of Brooklyn City Center, Minnesota, John Harrington, you, sir, and the mayor, Mike Elliott, you, sir, if you two allow this police officers or police officers who was present at that traffic stop who shot Dante Wright used deadly force that was not justified, and you go through the motions of allowing that police officer to keep his job, and not only keep his job, but to remain in law enforcement, or if you cause him or force him to resign, to leave and go to another department or other police agency, you too are just as guilty for the bloodshed of that innocent citizen, and you all need to go to jail. Is it not your duty as leaders? You all are being paid. Are police officers paid to do a job that they must perform under the oath? Yes. Are political leaders and people put in positions to perform services for their citizens, are they supposed to do their job accordingly? Yes, they are. And if they do not, and a crime is committed and nothing is done about it, are they just as guilty? Is the question that I leave for each and every one of you. We have before us a citywide, statewide emergency, and it goes beyond any protocol. And if legislations or procedures were brought forth with immediate action for our Asian communities, with the hate crime, what about many blacks who have been targeted and killed? Should there be a hate crime for corrupt police officers? Is this a hate crime? Was Dante Wright targeted beyond just an air freshener? If the police saw an air freshener on the mirror, what did they see first? A police officer sees something beyond something as minute as an air freshener. They saw the color of Dante Wright's skin color. And the color of his skin was targeted. Then he was pulled over. And he was shot. And the question is now too, who is doing all of these shootings of innocent citizens on traffic stops when it comes to foundational black people? Is this black police officers? Because analysis is very important in police departments. Or is it white police officers, Hispanic police officers? And this will prove that reforming police department, police officers, and their procedures of approaching foundational black Americans is important in this reform, if there ever going to be a reform in police agencies. Who are doing these shootings against innocent citizens? Is it white police officers or black police officers shooting and killing these citizens across this country? The analysis will state that there is a proportionate amount of white police officers killing foundational black citizens, and it needs to stop now. Is that justified? So now the question is, should there be reform where only white police officers make contact with only Hispanic and white citizens and let there be black police officers who only conduct and deal with black citizens? It has come to this point because police agencies and the duties of police officers are beyond, at this point, incapable of doing their jobs appropriately, and it starts from the higher ups that are allowing this to continue time and time again. And that's why you see me here, and that's why I was forced out. As a police officer, a decorated police officer. Because I understand that when you all as police officers perform your duties and something is not done right, it should be, that wrong should be removed. I was not the problem. Even now, I'm still dealing with a situation. I'm a decorated police officer. The crime was committed against me. You'll see it in the Hoverman Cop comic book. And my situation wasn't even investigated. So I'll leave that up to y'all. And not only that, greetings to you. Justice and peace. Not only that, my last act of service, when I performed my duties, I was injured. I went to the hospital, had a fractured thumb, injury to my head. And do you not know, as a decorated police officer, the world's top cop, how I was treated? My medical bill has still not been paid, and it's been over 3 years. And why was it? You know the answer. And will my medical bill ever be paid for? I don't know. I asked the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, the outgoing chief. He knows of it. The current chief, he knows of it. Will that be paid? I don't know. I would hope so. Please let me know, someone from the city of Houston. But to get back to my point, Duane Wright is no longer here because he was targeted. And since there's been such a press on hate crimes against Asians, this is a hate crime against this black citizen. He was targeted. He was shot. And he was killed. And the officer who killed, or officers, whoever was at that scene, allowed that officer who had his finger on that trigger to shoot and kill an unarmed Duane Wright for an air freshener traffic stop. That's not honorable. That is not policing. And that officer, or you officers who took that man's life, he had a child. His child is 2 years old, who will now live the remaining of his years on this earth without his father. All because the Brooklyn Center, Minnesota Police Agency, Police Department hired a police officer who performed a traffic stop, and because of a warrant and because a citizen got back in his vehicle, shoots this individual and kills him because he did that, that is not policing. That is not a police officer. In New Mexico, the previous live video, I showed you and I gave my respect and honor to Duane Wright, a state trooper. He did a traffic stop. And that state trooper knew what traffic stop he was committing himself to on an individual who was dangerous, who has been on the Homeland Security target list. And State Trooper Jarrett approached that vehicle. He did not have his hand on his weapon. He spoke to the driver respectfully. And you have seen it many times in other situations. And even when State Trooper Jarrett knew that the suspect that he was performing that traffic stop on had a weapon, he did not even close drew his weapon because he was comfortable. And the truth is, only because he saw that suspect being the same color as him, Omar Cueva. So white suspect. And he was comfortable. So my concern now, and it's evident throughout years of studying and understanding this, the approach of white officers to black citizens is aggressive, illegal, and it needs to stop, as opposed to white officers approaching and dealing with white citizens. This is the problem, and it is destroying police agencies all around the country. And do you not expect citizens to continue to allow you leaders to have police officers in your agencies killing unarmed, non-aggressive individuals over and over again, and nothing be done? The holy word of God in Exodus 23 verse 7, it states, to keep far from false matters, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. For God will never be for those who slay and commit this form of wickedness, according to that scripture. God is against every police officer and every individual who commits an unjustified act. That scripture states God will never justify the wicked. That police officer who killed Dante Wright, the laws of this land may justify you doing right, but you have an eternal God that you will meet for pulling that trigger. You taking the life of Dante Wright from his son and from his mother, from his family. And if Mayor Elliott, the commissioner, if y'all don't do the right thing and allow this officer or officers who were on that scene, who participated in this wickedness, you all should be removed from your positions and replaced. That is a disgrace. There's no way around that you can get around performing a traffic stop on an air freshener and killing an individual on a traffic stop because of a warrant and because he got back into his patrol in his vehicle and drove away. Did he drive away because he knew he was going to die and he tried to save his life? Did the police officers use every means necessary without the use of deadly force before shooting Dante Wright? Why did he shoot Dante Wright? Why did he kill Dante Wright? If Dante Wright and his mother, his family, if he would have had my solution, my proposal to end such tragedies as this on traffic stops, you will see the link in my bio. He would be alive. And now I even wonder, and I pray if he did not, is a solution to his family and to all of you. You don't know when your last day in this life will be. But when it comes, you should be prepared financially to leave behind something for your family. Life insurance is important. I don't know if he had that. And those of you who want it and need it, submit to you, it's important that you have it. And I have people in place to help you even in that area. Contact me at 1-844-715-6689. And I pray for his family. And it's unfortunate, and I tell you, that this must indeed come to an end. And we as the people of this country don't need lip service anymore. We need solutions, and what I have are solutions. Black Lives Matter. What solutions have they brought forth? They have millions of dollars. Even if I had a portion of that, would revolutionize everything and bring the solutions. Black Lives Matter. What are you going to do? Are you going to go protest, sing songs, and twerk, hold hands, and just stand out there and have a show, take money, and go on about your business? Are you going to get lawyers whom you know who I'm talking about, just going to perform TV tactics and use this family and the death of Duane Wright for your own advancement? Wicked. Justice for all matters is an organization I'm also envisioning. And with your help, it will bring immediate change, solutions to this ongoing problem as your world's top cop. I submit to you that the way things are going, it must end what we are seeing, because it will not unless we have the solutions to it, and I do. Over out.